Everybody. Beautiful winter's day. Another Lord's Day to come and study another portion of Thy Word. We're on the conclusion on page 56, the conclusion of being a servant. A lot of times, I think about 1 Corinthians chapter 15, when it's talking about being a member of the Lord's church and being a servant of God and a servant of my fellow man and all that. And the last verse there's not much reward in being a servant in this life, is there? You know, sometimes we can think, oh, wow, there ain't no money made in that. But in verse 58 of 15, it says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." We are come out here on this winter's day to learn how to be a servant. Now there's a peculiar bunch of people that would want to do that. So in the conclusion, it says Jesus Christ is the greatest man the world has ever known. He was not a political leader or a military commander. He was not the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. He was not a champion athlete, trend-setting celebrity, adored performer, a successful lawyer, or life-saving doctor. In this life, those people, well, are peculiar. Not very many people gets to have any of those titles in this life. But we know that all that is in vain. He was not one of many things to which this shallow world attributes greatness. He was a humble servant, yet in serving others, he gained a name which is above other names. Philippians chapter 2, verse 5 through 11. Let's turn there and read that. Somebody turn there. Whoever wants to. Okay.
Philippians 2, it says, "Let this mind be in you which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant, and coming in the likeness of men. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. Therefore God also has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of those in heaven and of those on earth and of those under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father."
He became a bondservant. Is a bondservant not a slave? It's being owned by somebody. A bondservant. Well, God has exalted him above all. God did that. The world didn't do that. No, no. He became, because of his obedience. And we're to follow in his footsteps. We are to be obedient to God through the Word. Well, that's why we're here studying that, to be obedient. Jesus calls those who would be his disciples to follow him. A disciple is like his master. That's Matthew 10:25 and Luke 6:40. And our master was a servant. That's a pretty unusual statement. The master. Well, up here we read about all these great people in the world, like Fortune 500 company, a politician, a celebrated performer, a successful lawyer. These are not servants, but they're masters in this world. But to say that Jesus, our master, was a servant. Yeah. Marv?
Well, it goes back to being Christ was the form of God. It goes back to being a pattern. Goes back to the mold. And we go back a little further. We are be a form of Christ.
Right.
The pattern.
Right.
Mold.
A disciple is like his master. Yeah, that's what we are, disciples. A disciple is a what? Yes, a student. Yeah, to learn. We're not apostles. Some people claim to be apostles. In the world today, some people claim to be an apostle. But there's no apostles today.
You found one, he's pretty old.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty old. Yes. Yes. Yes, directly. Yeah, see, we today, we are students of Christ through the apostles' doctrine. Acts 2:42 or 47. We are to follow after the apostles' doctrine. If we get out of that, we're not Christ-like. Yeah. The greatest thing we can ever hope to become is a servant like Jesus. And the way that we serve Jesus is by serving one another. One another. Yes. Again, I've used myself through this study. I use myself for example. You have to tell me what you need. Sometimes I think that's what's lacking in our service today, is to say, oh, I need this and I need that. And not be embarrassed to do that or ashamed to do that or don't want to be a bother to somebody. You got to forget all that and say, hey, Markham, here's what you can do for me today. Yeah, Linda has no problem with that. Yeah, right. So, yes. I would we should appreciate the opportunity to serve. Does anybody have any more comments before we go to the questions? Has everybody got the questions filled out? Well,
Yeah, I got one thing.
Okay.
We shouldn't have to be asked. If we are personal, then we should know
Yeah.
and go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But what's the matter, the way Satan's got this world set up, Tara's over there and Grayson, you're over there on Honor Hill,
Yeah.
Brenda's over there by herself.
Right.
And it's hard, but we can call or stay together and know what they needed, and we just do it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's personal.
Personal, being personal. I don't know. Again, I use myself. I have a real problem with I don't know how to be personal. I don't know how to be that way. And like you said, we are scattered out around, but we have several tools. I mean, we got telephones, or at least I got a telephone. Like Lonnie says, I won't answer it, but I got a telephone. And we got cars we can ride in. Most of us got cars. We got the internet and stuff. I don't have that. People texts people nowadays. I don't know nothing about that. But anyway, we have a lot of tools that are exposure to be personal. Huh?
In case anybody don't know, there's a lot of personal work in here. There's a lot of people that show that they love each other.
Yeah.
And I wish we could, us men, this John Wayne, could take lessons from them.
Right.
They're really concerned about one another.
Right.
I mean, I'm concerned about Omani, but am I really concerned at examples that they have shown me? That's the difference.
Yes. Yes. What role does Jesus take when he came into this world?
Servant.
Servant.
Bondservant. Yeah, I was thinking about that bondservant earlier when we was talking about it before. And we can look in history with all the slaves and, not just in our country, but all over the world. Like a good servant, they had a great master. They had a good life, really.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear that these days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you had a good master and you was a good servant, like you wanted for nothing, right?
Right. Right.
And I think we overlook that
Right.
because we got the best master ever.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the better servants we are, the better the more we're going to recognize.
That's a good point.
You know.
I hadn't thought about that.
But
We don't think like that nowadays.
go
Yeah.
back to the Civil War, where slaves was free, there's a lot, many, that wouldn't leave.
Right after, yeah.
The master.
Yeah, after they had their freedom. Yeah. They didn't know how to do anything else but be a slave. But now some of them had bad masters. Some of them had bad. Yeah, they left no matter what the cost.
Well, some people's got a bad master right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this to my past, right? I was a slave to drugs and sin,
Yeah.
right? The devil has this world put up to where certain things are glorified instead of others.
Right. Right. It makes you look.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for a while now, so he knows what he's doing, right?
Right.
But there was nothing more purposeful in my life when I heard the gospel.
Right.
And it wasn't because of what he's going to do, it's what he's already done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he already done. Yeah. Yeah. All we have to do is follow after it. I wrote down, he humbled himself to God and became a servant. That's what we do when we obey the gospel. We humble ourselves to God. What would you have me to do, Lord? Contrast the standard of greatness in the world with the standard of greatness in the Lord's kingdom. Matthew 20, 26 through 27. If someone wants to turn there. Matthew chapter 20, verse 26 and 27.
Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be the first among you, let him be your slave. I want to read 28 too.
Okay, go ahead.
Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Amen.
Right, right.
Pretty good, man.
That's
God can do that.
Yeah, only John got to do this too. Only me.
And it's hard even to be a child of God.
yes.
Yeah, it's not all sunshines and rainbows.
Don't come natural.
No.
Right, don't come natural. Well, we're in the world, but not of the world.
That's the hard part.
Yes, yes.
You know, because you know, reading the good book here, it explains to us it's pretty obvious what we have to do as Christians, what we need to be doing, and we are not to be sitting still.
Yeah.
And so we go out there and we try to plant a seed or water a seed or, you know, all this, and that becomes extremely difficult sometimes, and because we you know, I ain't got to explain to anybody in here, I don't think.
No. What I put down on for my answer is in the world, we're to be served at others' expenses. So if I expect to be served, I'm being served by the expense of others. And in God's kingdom, the servant is the greater good. He looks into, that's a term we don't use nowadays too much, but about 15, 20 years ago, I remember that term, the greater good. What is the greater good? So in God's kingdom, we as servants, we look for the greater good, don't we? The good of all, instead of just one.
If you're not serving, you're not growing.
Right.
Growing or what?
I mean, it takes a while to understand it, do I really understand that? I mean, you know, to being a child of God, do I really understand being a child of God?
Yes. Well, like we said earlier, we're in the world, but not of the world. So we can't, a lot of times we want to measure what we're doing by the people around us, but that's not right.
Man said.
Yeah, man standard. That's not right. No, not for us, not in the kingdom. What is the primary objective of a servant?
Put others before you.
I'm sorry?
Put others before you.
Well, I put unselfishness, the greater good. A good deal is when everyone prospers. That's a good deal, ain't it? That's a lasting deal, is when everybody prospers. If the deal is one-sided, it won't last long. How does Jesus explain the role of his servants? Who are they to serve? I put Galatians 6:10. If anybody wanted to turn there and read. Tara, you want to turn there and read Galatians 6:10?
That's expand the road.
I'm sorry?
How does Jesus expand the road?
Expand. Oh, I said explain, didn't I? Yeah. How does Jesus expand the role of his servants?
Open about the same.
Who are they to serve?
Ready? Galatians 6:10. So then, while we have opportunity, let us do good to all men, and especially to those who are of the household of the faith.
Amen. There it is, expanding. Yeah.
I don't know, and we've talked about this before, but I don't know how you can expand as a servant if you can't do good to all.
Right, right.
I don't see the expansion in any of that, or the love, or nothing.
It's a limiting factor if
Yeah.
you can't do for all.
Well, because if you can only do good for the household of faith and that's it, then you're never gonna plant a seed or expand or branch out,
Right.
none of that, because nobody's gonna do it.
No.
Like, well, them the most stuck up people in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry trying to tell you I love you so much, you know what I mean? Go with agape love, whatever they call it. And,
Right.
But I won't give you $1 to put some gas in the tank or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Won't help you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll pray for you.
Yeah. I wrote down having opportunity, all men and the church. Yeah, we would be limited. You know, there's nothing, as a farmer, there is nothing, no plants that I know of that don't expand. If you're, like corn for instance, if you're side dressing and you put fertilizer in one little strip and you go in there in the fall of the year, you're going to find most of the roots are where that little strip's at. And that's where but if it's a dry year, you'll find roots all from balk to balk. All through the balk, I mean, from row to row. Because it was hunting for moisture. On a dry year, that plant knows what to do. When it starts getting short on something, it searches for new opportunities. And God made that plant. And then when the sun gets real hot, in the middle of the day, its leaves will all swivel up. They'll just fold up. And then of the night, they'll fold back out again and collect the dew. And you go out there early in the morning, and the ground's wet all around the stalk where it's collected that much dew of the night. See, it knows. I mean, if we can look at a plant and tell what to do, I mean, this is not, God's glory is all around us. He tells us what to do. I think for me that was a good example, but yeah, but I think about stuff like that. Having opportunity, all men, and the church.
Let's go back to what Lonnie said,
Okay.
about being good to all men.
Yes.
Everybody's heard, how do you get the man? You get the man through his belly. That's how you get the man. How we get to the world is have so much compassion and care for them that we help, no matter who it is, we help them in their time of need
Yes.
with our resources, our own resources, and then with the church's resources.
Right.
I don't see how one's so good than the other on the resources. Like, God allowed me to have a paycheck. God allows me to put money in the till. God allows the church to have a till. But for me, like, if I get money in my pocket or if we get money out of the church money, I don't see any difference in that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Like,
Well,
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Shriners.
God,
Yeah.
we gotta be good stewards, which, they need, I mean, about the same thing.
You should be doing
You
it
gotta,
right too.
you gotta be good stewards, anyway you go.
I mean, I could be wrong, I can think, I'm quick.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to leave on.
Why is it difficult for some people to take on the role of a servant? And I wrote down Galatians 5:17. Noah, you want to turn there and read that?
Which one?
Galatians 5:17. Galatians chapter 5, verse 17. That's what I wrote down. That's what I thought of. Why is it difficult for some people to take on the role of a servant? Could we put most people there? Yeah, him.
For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought of. It's a constant battle between the flesh, the world, and the spirit, spiritual. The fleshly man and the spiritual man. That we could,
From, where I work at, we call it being selfish,
yeah,
self-centered,
yeah.
and full of spirit.
I wrote down time.
Time's our biggest asset, isn't it? Or our most precious asset, maybe. Yeah.
And pride.
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 Pride. Yeah, pride goes before a fall. Yeah.
I put perspective,
Perspective.
because as, ourselves, our perspective is going to be different compared to our perspective of someone else. So we automatically put our needs above someone else because we know how bad we want or need something, and we don't know how bad someone needs or wants something else.
Right. Right.
I believe that's about the best answer.
Yeah. It's pretty good. That's a good answer. Yeah. What does
We'll give you another one.
What does Jesus say about the individual who does his good deed in order to be seen by men? The answer to that's in Matthew 6, 1 through 4.
I got you here. It says, take heed that you do not do your charitable deeds before men to be seen by them. Otherwise you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do a charitable deed, do not shout a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogue and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. And surely I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly.
Right. A while ago, Marvin said there's a lot of personal work being done here, but we don't see it. So we're doing it the right way, ain't we? Yeah, we're doing it the right way. And for that one, I just put down simply, they have their reward. Yeah. Number 7, what powerful illustration does Jesus use to set an example for humility and service before his disciples? John 13, 3 through 17. John 13. 3. John 13, 3 through 17. Anybody there, they can read it.
If you know these things, happy are ye if you do
I have it. It says, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girding himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, what I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Peter said to him, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, if I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, he who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean, and you are clean, but not all of you. For he knew who would betray him, therefore he said, you are not all clean. So when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them.
Right. That's what Marvin quoted. In King James, verse 17 says, if you know these things, happy are ye if you do them. Peter, he was looking at things there as like a worldly man, saying, oh, you're not going to wash my feet, because you're the master. And Jesus said, if I don't do this, you have no part with me. Well, Peter wanted to be a Christ-like so much that he said, oh, wash my head, my whole body. And he said, if I wash your feet, you're clean all over. So he's talking about a spiritual, humbleness. He's talking about a spiritual cleansing, not necessarily dirty feet, but we don't. And then I've been told this before, verse 14. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. I've been told by several times in my life that people says Jesus commanded that we to wash one another's feet. But that's not, it's a spiritual thing. It's humble, like Marvin said. It's being humble in yourself to be the ultimate servant. Not necessarily about washing feet. It's not about washing feet. It's about being a good, humble servant to each other. And again, I'd like to point out Acts 2, the apostles, this example here, as far as physically washing feet, was not adopted by the apostles, the early church. So, I mean, when you go out in the world and try to preach the gospel to all the world, this is what you're going to run into. People saying, oh, you guys don't wash feet down there, so you're not doing what Jesus said. So, hopefully we'll be a... Go ahead, Mark.
Well, Christ said, you don't understand, Peter, this time.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. You don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we understand.
Yes.
The humble part. And I've got friends that goes to place that teaches this. And they have washed the feet of people in their association. And
Well, the kingdom's not physical, is it? No, it's spiritual.
Wasn't that one of the lowest things that when you go into someone's home, their bondservant probably would wash your feet?
Yes.
So, I see this as being so low that if you are humble enough to do that, then think about all the other things that we should be doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Along with that, you gotta humble yourself as low to accept Christ.
Right. You have to come to Christ empty, don't you, of pride and glory and all that. Yeah, you have to come as you are, a sinful person or a sinful. Well, you have to come without anything, and He lifts you up.
But you gotta learn how.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here studying this, ain't it? Yeah, so we can learn. Oh, it's not natural for us to be humble servants. No. Does anybody have any questions on that foot washing thing? Well, we got 2 or 3 more minutes. I don't remember where I was at. Which number was number 8? When are we most like Christ? What did Christ do while He was here?
When we have a servant's heart.
A servant's heart. Humble. I put down when we love and serve God. That's what Jesus did. He loved and served God. So to be like Jesus, we got to do what Jesus did, right? What kinds of what's that word? Attitude. What kinds of attitude does an effective servant need to possess?
I got Christ's attitude.
Christ's attitude.
Because, he come and learned obedience all the way to death.
Yes, He did.
That's what we gotta do.
You have to be caring in order to understand one's needs, and you have to have humility in order to do the things that they need.
Yes. That's another good. That's it. I put down to serve with love, kindness, and gentleness.
Tom, you gotta get away from that love. No, keep going.
Well, that's a 4-letter word, ain't it? Yeah, right. Yeah, love. That's it.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
I put fruit of the Spirit.
Fruit of the Spirit, yeah. Which is love, kindness, meekness, gentleness. What am I leaving out? Right. Do we want to answer one more? What kind of attitude, let's see, verse number 10. What is to characterize the people that Jesus was redeemed and purified? Titus 2:14. You want to turn there, Tara? Titus 2:14. What is to characterize, I guess I got that word right, characterize the people that Jesus has redeemed and purified?
Talk about Jesus who gave Himself for us that He might redeem us from every lawless deed and purify for Himself His own special people, zealous for good works.
Purify. a willing, soul to love and serve God and the people. I got that word in there again, Marvin, love. Well, we'll start with number 11 next Sunday. But be studying the next chapter.